When I accepted my first deep space assignment, I imagined hostile terrain, malfunctioning tech, maybe even a skirmish with pirates. What I did not imagine was standing at the edge of an alien throne chamber, being told, without hesitation, that my duty for the night was to remain beside the Queen herself. The message had been blunt. Assignment 001. Human Liaison. Location: Outpost Virex 9. Objective: remain with her radiance throughout the lunar cycle. Failure is not an option. No explanation. No appeal process. Virex 9 hovered on the border between known space and something older, darker, and far more patient. The outpost was carved directly into a massive obsidian structure that predated every known civilization. Its halls pulsed faintly with bioluminescent veins, as though the station itself were alive and watching. I had trained for diplomacy, linguistics, xenobiology. I had not trained for whatever this was. The guards escorting me were tall, slender beings with opalescent skin and elongated crowns that marked them as royal sentinels. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Their presence alone was enough to silence my thoughts. At the center of the chamber, beneath a vaulted ceiling that shimmered like a living nebula, sat the alien queen. She was nothing like the monsters I'd grown up imagining. Her form was tall and regal, humanoid but unmistakably alien, skin like polished starlight, eyes deep and luminous, holding centuries within them. Her attire flowed like liquid crystal, shifting colors with her mood. When her gaze settled on me, the air itself seemed to bend. "So," she said, her voice resonating directly in my mind, "you are the human they sent." I swallowed. "Yes, Your Radiance. Lieutenant Elias Rourke. First assignment." A faint smile curved her lips. "I know. That should have unsettled me more than it did." She rose from her throne, and the chamber lights dimmed instinctively, as though they bowed with her. "You will remain here tonight," she continued. "Not as a prisoner, not as a servant, but as an observer." "An observer of what?" I asked. "Of me," she replied simply. The door sealed behind us with a sound like distant thunder. The hours that followed were nothing like I expected. Instead of interrogation or ritual, the Queen spoke to me about the stars beyond her empire, about wars long forgotten by humanity, about the slow decay of alliances built on fear instead of trust. She asked about Earth, about oceans, about music. I realized, slowly, that no human had ever been alone with her before. "You are afraid," she noted. "Yes," I admitted. "Good," she said. "Fear means honesty." As the artificial night cycle began, the chamber transformed. Walls shifted, revealing a private sanctuary filled with soft, bioluminescent light. A vast window opened onto space itself, where a violet planet turned silently below us. "This outpost," she said, "is where queens are tested." "Tested," I echoed. Her eyes darkened. "A ruler who cannot endure solitude cannot endure power." She moved closer, and I felt the subtle hum of energy around her, ancient, controlled, restrained by will alone. "You are chosen," she said, "because humans are unpredictable. You feel deeply. You bond quickly. And you lie poorly." "I'm honored," I said, unsure. She laughed, a sound like crystal chiming. "You are useful." As the night deepened, something changed. The Queen grew quieter. Her posture relaxed. The layers of authority she wore like armor began to slip. She spoke of the burden of immortality, of watching generations rise and vanish like sparks, of ruling an empire that loved her power but feared her heart. "Do humans fear their leaders?" she asked. "Some do," I said. Some expect them to be perfect. Others want them to fail. She considered this. Then perhaps we are not so different. It was near the end of the lunar cycle when the truth revealed itself. The outpost lights flickered violently. Alarm screamed through the chamber, sharp and alien. I reached instinctively for my sidearm, then froze as the queen staggered. "What's happening?" I shouted. Her breath came uneven. An attempt on my life. The walls pulsed red as energy signatures spiked across the station. A coup, internal. Her own court. "They knew tonight," she whispered. "They knew I would be vulnerable." I moved without thinking, catching her as she fell. She was lighter than I expected, fragile in a way no one would ever believe. "Why me?" I demanded. "Why put a human here?" Her hand tightened around my wrist. Because only an outsider could choose without ambition. The chamber doors began to melt under directed plasma fire. "Elias," she said softly, using my name for the first time. "You must leave." "Not happening," I said. "I don't abandon my assignment." A faint, tired smile touched her lips. I activated my emergency beacon, rerouting Outpost defenses manually, breaking every protocol I'd sworn to uphold. Turrets rotated. Energy shields flared. The attackers never reached us. By the time reinforcements arrived, the Queen had regained her composure, but something fundamental had changed. Dawn's cycle arrived quietly. The Queen stood once more upon her throne, radiant and untouchable. Courtiers bowed low. Guards avoided my eyes. I was summoned forward. "You have completed your assignment," she announced, and altered the course of my reign. I waited, heart pounding. "From this night onward," she continued, "humanity will no longer be observers at the edge of our empire." The chamber murmured. "You will serve as my permanent liaison," she declared. "Not because you are human, but because you stayed when you were afraid." I looked up at her. "And this outpost?" I asked. She met my gaze, something warm and unreadable flickering in her eyes. "It will no longer test queens alone." As I was escorted away, I felt it, a silent connection, delicate but unbroken. A promise neither of us spoke aloud. My first assignment was supposed to last one night. Instead, it became the beginning of a future neither of our species could have imagined. And somewhere deep within the living walls of Outpost Virex 9, the stars themselves seemed to watch, waiting to see what a human and an alien queen might change together.